Hello again. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me for another one of these record nerd outs, as my friend Double T calls them. Um, all these dumb videos that I've done so far on the subject of records that I've bought have all been about records that I've found at the Goodwill and things of that nature. Um, this one is a little different in the sense that, for I believe the first time, this video will be about records that I bought at actual record stores. I do go to them. I have been going to them for a long time, about half my life, or a little over half my life at this point. Um, the particular day that I went out and bought all these records was on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, 2012, which is also the Record Store Day Part 2, or whatever. It's, the other Record Store Day that's on Black Friday. Um, I have a variety of thoughts and feelings about Record Store Day, many of them not particularly positive. Um, all of the limited edition foofara that gets whipped up for Record Store Day is pretty much every year so far uh, almost 100% not of interest to me, either musically or for a lot of other reasons. Um, and really, I need no particular excuse or special day to go to record stores and spend a stupid amount of money. I've been doing it for a long, long time. But at any rate, I did go out on Record Store Day Part 2 Black Friday. Um, and there was, in fact, one specific Record Store Day title I kind of wanted to find. I wasn't going to die if I didn't find it, but I did happen to find it. It's nice that it exists, and I think it's pretty neat. And it's going to be the first thing that I'll show you. But yeah, so Black Friday, I leave the house 10 a.m. I drive up to Akron to one of my very, very favorite record stores, um, which is Square Records in the Highland Square area of Akron. I've been going there for about 8 years now, I guess, and it's really a fantastic store where I've spent ridiculous amounts of money over the years. And I decided to show up right before they opened and hope to find this one particular uh, Record Store Day thing, or, Record Store Day 2 Black Friday Boogaloo. Um, so the thing that I wanted was this. It is the Record Store Day exclusive um, reissue or reproduction of the Mothers of Invention's 1967 single, Big Leg Emma on one side and Why Don't You Do Me Right on the other side. This was a limited edition of, I don't know how many, maybe 1,000, just guessing. Well, I guess it could have been like 10,000 based on the 4-digit limited edition gold stamped code. I don't know how many were pressed. I do know that this was number 248 out of however many. And this cost me $9.50, which is an atrocious amount of money to pay for a 7-inch single, but that's how things go, and I wanted it because Frank Zappa is my absolute favorite. And although these two songs do exist outside of this record, they can be found as bonus tracks on all CD editions of the album Absolutely Free. And in fact, the 2012 CD remastered reissue of Absolutely Free contains the true mono versions of these two songs, which are also to be found on this single. This is, the reproduction of the exact songs and mixes that were on the 1967 single. But the older CD editions, in fact, do not have the true mono versions of those tracks. They're sort of the fake stereo versions of them. But yeah, this was the thing I wanted, and I got it. This is got the nice little purple Barking Pumpkin Records label on it. and it does specifically say "The Mothers of Invention" on the label, and not Frank Zappa, as is often the case with reissues of things from that era. They're simply credited to Frank Zappa alone. But one thing I will say is I don't know what the list price was for stores to have to buy this thing. Even if it was like $7 or $8 or whatever, it cost me $9.50. But I would like to think that for that price, that the multi-million dollar Universal Media Enterprises, which is behind the current crop of Frank Zappa CD reissues and this thing, you'd think that at that list price that they would you know, be nice enough to throw just a plain paper sleeve inside this cover for the record to go in. But no, just the record and the cover. It's okay. I bought extra 45 sleeves that day, so we're good for this one. But this was the thing that I wanted. I found it, and it was by no means the only thing that I bought at Square Records in Akron, Ohio, that particular day. I got one other 7-inch for a much more reasonable price of $2. This was the first single by A Bullet for Fidel on Scat Records. A Bullet for Fidel was one guy named Brian DePlacido, who was from Erie, Pennsylvania, and put out one album and two 7-inch singles and a 12-inch EP of basically one man kind of indie folk stuff, sort of a little bit country-ish, a little bit Elvis-ish sounding at times, but I just happen to be a huge fan of this guy's limited body of work, and certainly I already own a copy of this single, which is on this gray vinyl, which this kind of has some like red marbled streaks through it. I don't remember exactly how gray my other copy is, but I bet it's pretty gray. This was, just one of those things that I happened to really like and bought it, even though I already own it because it was cheap. I could give it to somebody else one day. That'll never happen. We already know I don't get rid of things. So those were those little records that I got. I also got a nice stack of big records that day. And one other record store day item that I got was not, I believe, not exclusive to Record Store Day. I believe it was a Record Store Day first, which means it's still available, but it was first available that particular day. Another thing I'd like to note before I show you this record is I don't buy very much new vinyl because, I don't know if you've noticed, it's kind of fucking expensive. And more often than not, if something exists on CD, I'll just get the CD if it's a brand new thing, because it won't cost me, what this cost me, which was $19.50. Now, I'm not even entirely sure why I got this, but I did, and it's mine now. For $19.50, I got the Record Store Day first Velvet Underground LP, the Scepter Studios Sessions. This is taken from an acetate that was recorded at Scepter Studios in April of 1966. All of these songs are on the first Velvet Underground album, the Velvet Underground and Nico. But these are almost all, I believe, almost all different takes and or different mixes than were on the actual Velvet Underground and Nico album. I have not opened this yet. It's still sealed. I will listen to it one of these days, a long time from now, I'm sure. I like the Velvet Underground about as much as anybody else does, I guess. I've been listening to them since I was about 13, which is a long time ago indeed. And this was just a thing that came out, and I was like, okay, let's get this. This is also stamped. This is numbered 5037 out of how many, I don't know. I didn't look it up, and I don't really care that much, because a thing being a limited edition is not necessarily a strong motivator for me to buy it, unless it happens to be by some band that I really love, and I want to get their new limited edition thing while it's still available before it starts turning up on eBay and stuff like that. So there's that. Another brand new record that I bought, which was also expensive, $15. Um, but I don't think it exists on CD. And if I'm wrong about that, I'll feel stupid because I'll wish that I had just gotten this on CD for cheaper. Um, I could have waited a couple months and bought it used on Amazon. I don't give a shit. I'm not that picky. But for $15, I got this brand new second release by the band Forgetters, which was Blake Schwarzenbach of Jawbreaker and Jets to Brazil's current band. They also released a double 7-inch a year or two ago that's pretty good, and I have that. So yeah, I got this. It was $15, as I noted. Probably be a long time before I listen to it, but that's how these things go. So that was it for brand new records. Um, on the comedy front, which, as you know, I buy a decent amount of comedy records, for $2, I got this album by Shelley Berman, A Personal Appearance. I have one other album by Shelley Berman, which is called something that I don't remember. I do know it was on Verve, and so is this. I don't really listen to or buy a whole lot of comedy stuff of this vintage, like from the 60s. But I do like the other Shelley Berman record that I have, so let's go ahead and get this one for $2. $2. For $3, I got this album by the Firesign Theater, who have put out a whole bunch of albums, and I'm not even sure if I own any or not. I think I might have one that I bought a while ago and haven't listened to yet. So this is either my first or second Firesign Theater album. It's called Lawyer's Hospital. This is on Rhino. I assume it's a reissue of a slightly older record, but it may not be. I don't actually know. I do know that it's on Rhino and it cost me $2, and it has this nice like plastic Rhino inner sleeve. It's not that often that you see like plastic inner sleeves with all this printing on them, but it's kind of nice to have a gander at what was being put out on vinyl by Rhino at that time. There's a little list of some stuff they have with prices. Yeah, because in the '80s, brand new records were like $8, and now they're twice that, and that is dumb. But what can you do? For $8, I got this double album by Lou Reed called American Poet. This is a live record. It was recorded in Hempstead, New York on December 26, 1972. I don't honestly know if this is a legit release or if this is sort of a gray market sort of bootleg affair. It kind of looks like it could be. It's on the Get Back label. It's manufactured in Italy. It's not a label I really know anything about, so I don't know if I should consider this like a bootleg or a real thing. I mean, it's not on like whatever label that Lou Reed is actually recording for 12 years ago. So I don't know. You tell me, or I'll look it up. Whatever. But this was, seems like a thing to get. Lou Reed. I have so many Lou Reed albums. I have like nearly everything he released up to the late 80s. Do I ever listen to it very often? Not really. I bought most of it in my teens because it was easier to find and cheaper then, and I do like Lou Reed, but how often do you really need to listen to some of those albums? Anyway, forward. As of late, I've had really good luck at finding like mostly used reggae stuff at Square Records that I'm not really like familiar with totally, but like these used import reggae albums come in for like decent prices, so I buy them as long as they're from the '70s. I'll at least give them a shot. On this particular day, I got 3 of them. The first is Jah Loves Everyone by Leroy Smart. I paid $6 for this, and it's on the Burning Sounds label. And it is not the only thing I've found recently that was on Burning Sounds there. I wonder if it all came from like the same person's collection or what. I don't know. But this is on a nice translucent green vinyl. It looks nice and green under the light. Not under the light. It looks sort of weirdly turquoise, but it's green. We'll say it's green. I don't own anything else by Leroy Smart. I've never heard this record. Not sure if I've ever heard any of his stuff, but I have a thing for reggae, and like I said, if it was from the '70s, there's a good chance I'll just give it a shot at least. And that seemed good for $6. Also on Burning Sounds label, and nicely split here at the top. No glue holding that together anymore. This is a record by Delroy Wilson called Lovers Rock. This was $8, and I believe this is also on some kind of color vinyl. Indeed. This is on red, translucent red. It's not opaque. You can see light through it. So that's a pretty color. So I did find a red record and a green record. I did not find a gold to complete the the flag colors trinity. Although I have bought I think it was a Burning Sounds like sampler compilation that I found at Square Records one time, which I believe was on gold vinyl. Another reggae thing is this album, Dub Disco Volume 1 by Bunny Wailer. I got this for $7. It's on Cash and Carry Records. I believe this would have been pressed in Jamaica. This is just on regular black vinyl. It was released in 1979, and this is all dub or disco mix versions of songs that I'm probably not familiar with because I don't have anything else by Bunny Wailer. But like anything else, I take a chance on this for $7. And the final thing that I got at Square Records, which is also a reggae album, although I believe this is brand new, and at a cost of $10.50, I'm going to assume that's the case. This is Ja Thomas Presents King Tubby's Meets Scientist in a Midnight Rock Dub. I enjoy those long, drawn-out dub album titles where more than one artist is involved. It's got 14 cuts on it. They're all, instrumental and dub affairs. I couldn't tell you without listening to it if I'm really familiar with any of them. But they exist on this record that I'll listen to one of these days. I believe this is also on black vinyl. Yes, it looks to be a fairly thick record, and there is, disappointingly, no paper or plastic inner sleeve in this thing. I'll throw one in myself. Don't worry about it. So that was my nice little haul from Square Records that day. I don't believe I bought any CDs, and I don't see any sitting right near me with the Square Records price tag on them, so I'll assume no. Now, while I grab another pile of stuff, Square Records was not the only record store that I went to on Black Friday. The other was my first favorite record store ever, and still either, my favorite or tied for first or whatever. There's not that many that I go to regularly. This is certainly one that I've been going to since I was 15, which was in 1996. That is Checkered Records in Canton, Ohio, which was once upon a time located in a little shack on Cleveland Avenue and is now located in a little plaza, which is at the corner of, I believe, 20th Street and Whipple or 19th Street and Whipple. It's right around there. You'll find it. I'm talking to people who live nowhere near me and will never visit there. But if you're ever in the area, it's completely worthwhile because it's a totally awesome record store that I've been going to forever and ever. Half my life. So, yeah, I went there, and I also found, look at this. It's another one of these things. Yeah, I bought 2 copies of this. Everything that I said before still applies to it. This is stamp number 906, 906, out of, again, how many, I don't know. This, I took the price sticker off of it because I think the price tag was on the actual sleeve, and so I didn't want it to, I didn't want the glue to stain or to end up tearing when I took it off later or anything, so I just removed the price tag. But I believe this cost me $10.99, which is stupid for a variety of reasons, one of which being that I already bought a copy of it about 2 hours before I got this one, and it already cost me $9.50. So why buy another one? I don't know, but I did. Too late to fret about it now. And no, if you're curious, I don't plan on selling it on eBay or any of that silliness. Maybe one day, way in the future or something. Who knows? I can't totally rule it out. But I bought two copies because I wanted them. I guess I didn't plan on selling one or giving one to anybody else. I'm not gonna be one of those dickhead Black Friday or record store day. I'm not gonna be one of those dickhead record store day record flippers that immediately sells the shit on eBay a half an hour after the store opened. However, I digress. I didn't get a whole lot of stuff at Checkered Records, but I sure did spend a lot of money because that's what I do when I go there. So there was that. The number one other thing that I had in mind when I went there is I had seen this record there before, and I was hoping to find that it was still there so that I could buy it. And I did, and here it is. For $11.99, Woody Allen's double album, Stand Up Comic, um, which is. I've always been a little bit confused about this because the back cover of this record states that this double album is comprised of material from 3 Woody Allen albums. So I'm curious to know whether or not this double album contains all of those 3 albums, or if there's something missing, and if so, what is it? Something I should research, or you can school me on if you like, if you're so inclined. Um, this is, I've heard a good amount of this record before. I've never owned it before now, but it's terribly, terribly funny. It's excruciatingly funny. Woody Allen was, by most historical accounts, a pretty fantastic stand-up comedian when he did it, and I'm glad that I found this record and that I own it now. I pulled a couple of records out of the $1 crates, which yields, the occasional gem. Sometimes you look through the cheap stuff and you find kind of neat shit. First was the second album by the Blues Brothers called Made in America. Um, I don't enjoy this album as much as the first one called Briefcase Full of Blues, which is, if you've never heard it, not a comedy record. I mean, it is John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd in the Blues Brothers characters, but they sing and actually play music. And their first album was actually very good. This one's not quite as good, but it's perfectly fine. And for $1, sure, why not? The other $1 record that I found was this Rhino Records 1980s reissue of the Monkees' Headquarters. Nothing really special to tell you about this one. It's just a Monkees record. I never owned this one before, and it's the Monkees. For $10, I bought this somewhat rare record. This is the Middle of America compilation. This is a compilation LP of essentially punk and hardcore bands from the Chicago area. In fact, the album was compiled by the peoples at WNUR 89.3 FM, Evanston, Chicago, college radio station, judging by the low position on the dial. But the main reason that I got this was because it contains 2 songs by Big Black, which, as far as I know, aren't on anything else. One is I think an instrumental called Hunter's Safety, Tommy Bartlett Dies in Pain. And the other was their typically Big Blackian cover of James Brown's The Big Payback. This also contains songs by Naked Ray Gun, Savage Beliefs, Nadsat Rebel, Out of Order, Rights of the Accused, and one song by the Effigies. I'm not super familiar with most of those bands. I know a little bit of Naked Ray Gun stuff. Was never huge into them, but it also contains one song by possibly the greatest punk band ever from Chicago, Articles of Faith. That's the song 5 O'Clock, and It's probably just the same version that's on their first LP, Give Thanks, but I don't know that for a fact. I just assume it to be true. This does come replete with this original insert, which has lyrics and stuff typed on it. So that's kind of cool that that's intact. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'll put it this way. Sure, this record's worth $10, and that you could sell it on eBay for more than that, I'm sure. It's not necessarily worth $10 to me, but that's what I paid for it, and, that was my decision, and I guess I'm stuck with it. I did also get a few CDs at Checkered Records that particular day. One was another reggae thing. This is The Gladiators, who I don't think I have any albums by, but I probably have maybe a couple songs on like some compilations somewhere. I'll have to investigate and see if I actually have anything by the Gladiators. But this is an album called Proverbial Reggae. I paid $10 for this CD. It was released in 1978, which means there's a good chance it's actually good, because as we all know, 99% of all reggae music basically went to shit right at the turn of the decade. That's my opinion. I stand by it. Prove me wrong. Except, don't try to point out to me that Steel Pulse's True Democracy came out in 1982. I'm aware of that, and it is one of my favorite reggae albums ever. It's also the exception to the rule. 1980s reggae, not so good. So if the copyright date on a reggae album starts with 197, take a chance. I also got two CDs by Wire, which were $9 each. One is called On Returning. This is sort of a compilation of stuff from their first period as an active band, 1977 to 1979. So this has songs from their first three albums, Pink Flag, Chairs Missing, and 154, and also has a couple of non-album singles somewhere on here. So there's that. The other Wire CD that I got was also $9. This is called Document and Eyewitness. It's a compilation of some live stuff recorded during, that first active period of theirs that they were together, 77 to 79. I've never heard any of this, as far as I know. It was released on Mute in 1991. I have a feeling that there's probably a good chance that most of it will sound terrible. I hope to be proven wrong on that, but when it comes to live recordings of punk bands from that period, you're pushing your luck if you think they're really always going to sound great. Also on the late 70s British punk tip, for $8 I got this Buzzcocks CD called Time's Up. This is also released on Mute Records, however, much later than the Wire CD. This is released in 2000. This is 11 tracks, which I believe comprises all of the stuff that the Buzzcocks recorded when Howard Devoto was in the band before he left and later formed Magazine. This also has an enhanced CD portion, because that was a thing that people used to do with CDs. That has some live footage from their very first show in Manchester, England. Interesting. I bet I'll get around to watching that one of these days. So I guess that's it. That was kind of a lot of stuff, and this was about a half an hour long, which I was hoping to avoid, but with that much stuff, and the fact that I can't shut up, we arrive at a video of a decent length, I guess. So anyway, that was that. I hope you enjoyed some aspect of watching this. Any likes and comments are certainly appreciated. If you enjoy this sort of thing, I suppose it's possible I will do some more in the future. Or if you'd rather I didn't, too bad. Or don't watch them. Or you may get lucky and life will just overtake and defeat me again, and I won't do any more of these. We'll see how it shakes out. But for now, there's about a $180 worth of crap that I bought on Black Friday / Record Store Day 2 Black Friday Boogaloo. Um, and that's that. Thank you for watching. There's links to things down there. Leave comments if you're into that sort of thing. And otherwise, be merry. Thanks for watching. Later.